Hello, everyone. My name is John Groshandler. My pronouns are he, him. I am the co-founder of the Gender Equal Project, and I'm so excited to be talking about the impact of increased funding for trans and non-binary centric organizations. I want to start out by talking a little bit about the challenge. I think anyone who turns on the news or their social media feed knows that not just our transgender non-binary people under attack, but it's especially our young people. The graph to the right shows more than 30 states directly attacking the gender-affirming care that we know is life-saving care for this already vulnerable, marginalized group within our society. And of course, it's the trans and non-binary people of color that are at the highest risk. Among other things, they can't travel to an affirming state to get that care. We also know that more than 70% of Americans report actually never having met anyone who's transgender that they know of, and that makes this confusing to some folks and hard to gain traction. And yet, more than 41% of young transgender folks have indicated they've attempted suicide. So you've got a combination of challenges here, and the anti-LGBTQ forces who are attacking these trans and non-binary young people are not stopping there. They're using this to upend LGBTQ rights more broadly. And importantly, and really the focus of this session is that only 0.04% of US foundation funding is going to trans and non-binary centric organizations, and that needs to change given lives are at stake. Now, you might be asking yourself, what does this old white cisgender heterosexual nonprofit co-founder have to tell us about intersectional funding? And it really goes to the power, the superpower of storytelling that is at the heart of Gender Equal's mission. Our mission is to replace misinformed opinions with powerful, positive experiences, just meeting young transgender non-binary people who are thriving. And you see here the 20 young people that are the leaders of our organization. We call them our champions. They are ages 12 to 18. One is more incredible than the next. They are 40% people of color, but that is just one of the many things that makes them special and diverse and powerful. And the circle is around my daughter, Chazzy, who bravely told me who she really was when she was 9 years old, and she now proudly identifies as transgender. And her story and these other champions are the superpower that funders have figured out is a way to address the challenges on that previous slide. Rather than hear me talk about it, I've got Champion Eve and some of the other champions ready to share a little bit about how we need the help of funders like those watching this video. Enjoy this.
I'll be honest with you, it's not easy being a trans kid these days. I mean, waking up to all this noise, I can't even believe what I'm seeing.
Then a dozen states across the country are putting laws restricting gender-affirming care for minors on the...
But the thing is, we're strong. We're smart.
Our generation is optimistic. We're hopeful.
We knew it was time to step up and own our narrative. We made Gender Equal so that the country can see who we really are. Trans kids are awesome, and we're here to stay. We're just like every other kid in the world.
Well, like all ambitious kids.
We're writing books, helping companies understand us, the next generation workforce.
All people need to do is meet someone like us, because when that happens,
opinions change.
Support grows.
Gender Equal is not a Band-Aid. It's the solution. We're doing this for the hundreds of thousands of kids like us all over the world. We are the voice of our generation. Trans kids, just like everybody else, deserve to learn, grow, and thrive.
And we're asking you to help us level the playing field. To help us do what we do.
Because we are changing the world.
That video has a simple but powerful message from our champions. They are changing the world, but they need your help to do it more broadly and quickly, given the stakes that I've talked about earlier. Now, we can't do this alone, and we've been partnering and collaborating with other leading nonprofits, helping them leverage what we've learned around the superpower of storytelling, these young people just sharing their stories of trans joy to demystify and humanize this topic. And it's not just funders and nonprofits, it's corporations that are funding us and helping our positive messaging reach their hundreds of thousands of employees. We are impacting policy at both the federal and the state level. The image in the middle with President Biden signing an executive order protecting trans youth, those 3 young people behind him are all gender equal champions. We're also impacting culture. On June 1st of this year, for example, we had more than half of the front page of USA Today, the most widely read English language newspaper in America, and just sharing a story of how they're, most of all, just human. On that same day, an hour-long special on ABC and Hulu featuring 6 of our champions and their parents. Nothing like this had ever been done. These champions have co-written a book series. They've been on all those major media you see along the bottom, whether it's at a Lush store or a Gap store or a Nike store. You're going to hear from our champions just sharing their stories of trans joy. I want to talk for a moment about intersectionality. It's at the core of so much of what we do. If you take, for example, one of our original founding champions, Champion Gia, she, by the way, is now on our board of directors. Yes, she's trans, but she's also Black. And that's just 2 of her many intersections. And she talks about that intersection on our social media, where we are reaching millions of people with our messages. Gia, we introduced her and her mom to a famous Chicago icon, Mama Gloria, a trans Black activist here in Chicago. And Gia's mom is a director and storyteller and created an award-winning documentary with our help called Mama Gloria. That led to Lucina also doing a different documentary featuring dads of trans kids that Dwayne Wade has helped bring to Netflix, and at different times of the year, just leveraging our champions' voices to talk about their intersectionality and what that means to them. So in summary, the challenges are significant, lives are at stake, but the superpower of intersectional storytelling is chipping away and measurably making a difference. And funders stepping up and going beyond just 0.04% will save and change lives at this important time in our history. I'm going to leave you with a final example of our short-form videos, which is how we share these stories with the help of our funders. Thank you.
If you passed me on the street,
or in a restaurant,
or on a plane,
would you think that I was kind?
would you wonder if I was extraordinary?
or if I might dream of changing the world?
Because if I saw you on the street,
Or in a park?
I might wonder how you became the person that you are.
Are you an author, an athlete, or studying to become a doctor?
Do you dream of moving mountains with your words? Or building bridges with your heart?
Have you ever performed in front of a crowd?
introduce the President of the United States.
Or inspired people to be themselves and follow their dreams?
When you imagine the life that you want to build,
It's probably pretty close to the life.
That I want to build.
It's probably pretty close to the life that we all want to build. And even if I don't yet understand how you became you,
Or how brave you had to be.
Or how many times you had to take a deep breath.
and know that you were just one step away from showing the world how incredible you are.
I do know this. If I passed you on the street, and if we started talking,
I would listen.
I would learn.
And I would accept you for who you truly are.
even if the world isn't always the place we want it to be,
We are always the ones who can change it
we just have to listen.
Respect one another.
and decide.
That today is the day that
Everything changes.
With your help, today can be the day that everything changes. Here's my contact information. I'd like to thank everybody at Change Philanthropy. I look forward to seeing you at the 2023 Unity Summit.